Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. It's week 15 in the NFL. We are talking right now with Doug Upstone, SBR contributor, NFL analyst, and we are going to do our regular spot, false favorites and live underdogs. Doug Upstone, thanks for being back with us.
Peter, I'm glad to be back here. And last week, after not doing so well the week prior, got some of that money back. We're using these picks, going against the sports books, a nice little foray there. And so let's see if we can continue it. I'm going to use the same winning formula as last week. Two false favorites and one live underdog.
For sure. It's always interesting to hear what you have to say. All right, what's your first false favorite for week 15?
My first false favorite, Peter, is the Green Bay Packers on the road at Buffalo. Now, the Packers are 7-0 and 5-1 against the spread at Lambeau Field and averaging 41.1 points a game. Absolutely fantastic. But when they got to take this act on the road and leave the cheesy Wisconsin turf, things aren't going so well, and their scoring average plummets like a cold front coming through the state of Wisconsin, down to 22.5 points per game. Now, at roughly now a 5 or 5.5 point favorite with the Packers, I see them going up against Buffalo's #1 sack defense, which I think can certainly cause them problems. Now, Buffalo with Kyle Orton and that offense is certainly not prolific, but as we saw with the Packers on Monday night, that defense is still shaky, and they fell all the way to 26th in total defense this past week. So I think it's a few too many points at Buffalo, and I think the Packers are a false favorite heading up that way.
Yeah, I think you're right about that one. I thought the same thing when I analyzed this game. Green Bay kind of reminds me a little bit of like Denver when they're a home favorite of like 10, and then they keep winning all their home games by 7. It feels like Green Bay, they just tend to win their road games by like 3 or 4 points. 5 seems a little bit too much. I'm agreeing with you. All right, what's your second false favorite, Doug Upstone?
My second false favorite is on Seattle this week. Now, you know, a longtime singer, Tony Bennett, might have left his heart in San Francisco, but bettors are leaving San Francisco away, okay, because this team is really faltering and they're really teetering on the edge of total collapse. And really, there's a lot of blame to go around in a lot of different directions. Now, Seattle, on the other hand, Peter, you know, they're starting to look very much like the Super Bowl champs from a year ago, dominating defense, physical running game, and Russell Wilson making all the rest of the plays that he needs to for this team to win. Nevertheless, Peter, I look at this at 10 points for Seattle, and I know they're 7-0 against the spread against San Francisco in recent games, but that really seems like a lot of points. And San Francisco, I'm just going to assume at this point they're going to have a lot of pride, even though they might not have a lot to play for the way things look. I think they're going to play with some pride. I think they're going to show up and make this a much more competitive game than what the spread is. So I think Seattle, at least in my opinion, is a little bit of a false favorite here.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I did preview the game with Brandon Shively, a guy who's been killing it in the NFL this year, and he agrees with us. He likes us, San Francisco, as well. I'm a little bit concerned that Seattle's defense might start to get truly dominant, and they might hold San Francisco to single digits, maybe, and get a shutout. But it does seem like a little bit too big of a cushion to be giving San Francisco 10 points. Who knows? All right, what's your live underdog for NFL Week 15?
My live underdog is going to be on the Atlanta Falcons this week. Now, the Falcons defense, is a sorry group, and we saw that last week in Green Bay, and as they got lit up, in this case, literally like a Christmas tree for over 500 yards, and right away they went from a pick to +3 against Pittsburgh. Now, the lines come down a little bit. Last I saw that Atlanta was catching 2 points. And the crowd, at this game is probably going to be close to 40% Pittsburgh fans dressed in black and gold because of how well they travel. And right now, with the trio of Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon Bell, this trio is as hot as any boy band, including One Direction at this time. But when I look at Atlanta, I see an offense that's really at home, can really score some points, and they're averaging over 31 a game. Now, Pittsburgh's defense isn't as bad as Atlanta's, but it's certainly not that impressive when allowing over 24 points per game. And I see also Pittsburgh is 2-9 against the spread as a road favorite off a double-digit victory when facing a team with a losing record. I think Atlanta comes to play, and they're very much a live underdog to win this game outright.
All right. Well, they're not as hot as One Direction. No one's as hot as One Direction. But point well taken. I understand what you're trying to say there. And interesting pick. Yeah, interesting line. The line has seen a lot of movement. We'll see how this turns out. Thanks so much, Doug Upstone. Talk to you again next week.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.